Okay, hello everyone. My name is Ron with Oneness Workshop, and today I'd like to talk a little bit about something that is happening to us, not just now, but has always happened and always will happen. And that is that we are being bombarded daily, in every nanosecond, constantly, 24/7, by a frequency that bombards us every day. Were you aware of that? Did you know that? Well, let me explain a little bit what I'm talking about. Okay? As you can see on the screen up here, it says the first truth. And the reason I look up is because my monitor is way higher than me. So if I'm looking up, don't get like, what is he doing looking way up there? Anyway, the first truth is to know. Okay, this is something before you can discover the truth about or in anything else. You must know this truth and use this truth to find truth in anything else. Okay? And I'll explain a little more in a second. The first truth is to know the omnipresence. And omnipresence means, of course, everywhere, all the time, everywhere. There's not one thing where God is not present. And that's why we use the term omnipresence, okay, with God, because he's all present everywhere in everything, even within us right now. God is present, resonating in us right now. Okay, that's how we are being bombarded daily, hourly, secondly, or in every second. God is resonating in everything, through everything, for all eternity. Okay? Because we are in God. Okay? God is in us. God's not some way far off guy sitting up in heaven ruling over everything. Doesn't work that way. God is everywhere. And this resonance that we're talking about is the spirit and the energy and the power of God. Okay? So the first truth is to know the omnipresence of the one true God resonating in everything, through everything, for all eternity. The greatest gratitude is to let God's presence resonate in us and work through us. Okay? How do we let it? Okay? If we do not let go of all the clutter and the distractions that have built up in us, that's called forgiveness. If we can't let that go, we're not going to resonate. Not going to happen. Okay? And now I'm going to show you 2 videos of tuning forks. Anyone who's worked with music might be familiar with a tuning fork. Just a brief illustration of what happens with resonance is if you have a bell, or just say a lid to a pan, and you bang on that lid to the pan, you can hear it ringing. Okay? That's resonance. That's resonance. Now, if you bang on the bell, but you hold your hand on it, what happens? The bell can't ring. It just goes dink, dink, dink. It can't ring. But if you take your hand off and you hit it, it ring, produces a tone. Okay? So, we must be free to resonate. We have to be able to resonate. So I'm going to play these videos, and I'm going to kind of explain them as I'm playing them. Okay? Let's see, where are they? I believe they're right here. The first one I'm going to play, you'll see how when someone strikes a tuning fork, it starts to resonate. And then the other tuning fork begins to resonate all on its own. It happens all by itself. Okay, so here's the first one. Okay. Oop, nope, that's the second one. Sorry about that. That's the second one. Here's the first one. And let me pause this a second. Make it a little bigger. So you can see it. I'm not always so well prepared, so I just make the videos as I can. Okay, so here we go. So watch what happens when the tuning fork here on the right is hit. Watch what happens with the second one all on its own. Okay, here we go. Okay, that one rings, and then the other one starts to resonate all by itself. Okay, now let me explain here a little bit. Let me move this out of the way so you can see me a little better. So let's put this down there now. Okay, now let me explain. We get my hands out of the way. We are like tuning forks, all right? We pick up. Remember I said we're being bombarded by God's resonance all the time. Okay? And we are made in such a way that we will resonate to God's spirit, okay? To God's frequency or spirit. We have to. Life is only possible if we can resonate in tune with God. If we can't resonate in tune with God, we will die. Okay? We have to have it. Something that has to happen. Now, here's another video. Here's the second one that I pulled up first that I wasn't supposed to show you, but here's the second one, okay? Now, pull that up. First one resonates, resonates, resonates. The second one, it can't resonate. It's not resonating. Why is it not resonating? Okay? Okay? I'll explain why. Right now, I'll explain why. Okay, remember I said that that bell, if you hold your hand on the bell and you hit it, it just goes ding, ding. It cannot resonate because your hand is preventing it from resonating. Okay? Your hand is preventing it from resonating. Okay? Well, here in this video, you see this tuning fork has some stuff on it. It has anger. It has stress. It has greed. It has hate. It has bitterness and much more. Could be distractions, could be drugs, could be a whole host of things. Could be fear. You're afraid. If your soul and your spirit is burdened with all these things, you are not going to resonate. And if you can't resonate, you can't live. Because Christ said, man does not live on bread alone, but by every word or frequency or resonance, because that's what a word is. You know, my words are vibrations that come out over our vocal cords. So when Christ said, man doesn't live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds from the mouth of God, he's talking about we must feel his spirit. We must feel that resonance constantly, or life isn't possible. So we need to free up. We need to forgive, okay, and free up. And we need help to do that. Scripture says that we are God's temple. Paul said, don't you know that you are the temples of God? And in the Bible, Jesus went into the temple in Jerusalem, and he seen that people were in there using the temple for bad purposes. They were making money. They were in there selling things and making people buy things in the temple. And he got a whip, and he drove with that whip. He drove it. I mean, he was mad. He seemed like a madman. He just went in there and he drove it with passion, great passion. He drove everybody out of the temple. Now, that pictures something for us, okay? If we are God's temple, then don't you think we should allow Christ to come into us, into our temple, and drive out all this clutter, all these burdens? And there's a scripture that says, cast your burden upon God, and he himself will sustain you. And so you get rid of these burdens. And how is he going to sustain you? With his word. What is his word? It's a vibration. So, we need to be like the first one I showed you. We need to be like this. You hit it, boom. We're free to vibrate. There we go. We're free to resonate in tune with God's frequency, his divine nature. Okay. Once we do, we will become we will return rather to our true divine state, our true divine nature. And we're going to talk more about this. We're going to talk more about the temple, how we are a temple, and how we must resonate. A temple is made up of 3 parts. And the temples of ancient times, tabernacles, temples, were made up of 3 parts. Just briefly, the outer wall, the courtyard, 1 part, the holy part that you enter into, and the most holy. And this is like us. We got the body, the soul, and the spirit. But next video, I'm going to go into that in more detail. So that's it for today. So think about these things. These are ideas. It's not that my ideas are not set in stone. I'm a student. But they're just something that we should think about. As a child, I used to lay awake at night in bed and think about all this stuff and wonder why and wonder how God is and wonder how he can be everywhere at once. I used to think about this all the time. So I hope you'll think about it, and God bless, and we'll see you next time. Okay, I'm Ron Lewis with Oneness Workshop and the School for Divine Identity. Thank you.